All right, everybody. Welcome to Guru Fantasy World. And this is your host, David Gatiri. Just want to get right into it and talk about an Elijah Mitchell today. But this is my first show ever. I want to let everybody know. Please bear with me. I just decided to dive right in. I don't know how to edit anything. Can't promise great production quality, but I can promise I got a good case for Elijah Mitchell for you today. So, that being said, let's get right to it. I've got, let's count up the reasons. What do I got? 8 reasons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8 reasons why you should be buying Elijah Mitchell. Number 1, he is an elite athlete. Number 2, he's efficient. Number 3, he is a yardage creator. Number 4, he's handled significant volume. 5, he's got receiving upside. 6, he is a system fit. 7, there are still lingering doubts, which are keeping his price low enough to the point where I feel compelled to make this video and tell you guys to go out and buy him. And 8, I guess this is just an extension of the 7th. He's got an affordable price tag. I'm double counting. All right, I've got 7 reasons why you should be buying Elijah Mitchell. Number 1, let's get right to it. He is an elite athlete. He ran a 4.35 40 at his pro day. And even if we bump that down 0.5, 0.7, or 0.05, 0.07, we're talking low 4.4 40s. He's also got extreme lower body explosiveness. He had a 37.5-inch vertical at his pro day, which to me I think is arguably just as impressive as the 40, if not more impressive. It shows that he's got a lot of burst. You look at a lot of the running backs who sustain success in the NFL. If they have a vertical up around 34, 35 plus, it's a great indicator. So he checks that box with flying colors according to Player Profiler. He's got a 74th percentile SPARQ score. It's a great blend of speed and power. And that blend allows him to be very efficient with his touches. He's got an 85th percentile yards per carry in college at Louisiana. On his first 143 NFL carries, he's averaging 4.84 yards per carry, which is 9th best in the NFL. And most impressively, he is averaging 2.5 yards per carry after contact, which is 5th in the entire NFL, behind only Nick Chubb, Jonathan Taylor, Kareem Hunt, and Javonte Williams. 2.5 out of 4.8 yards per carry after contact. That's more than half of his yards after contact, Elijah Mitchell. He's doing it on significant volume. He's had 10-plus touches in every single game he's played this year. The last 2 games, he's had 27 and 32 touches. He has 400-yard rushing games in his first 8 games as a pro. That's every other, pretty much. His first 8 games as a pro. He's rendered third-rounder Trey Sermon a healthy scratch. He's out-touched Jeff Wilson 32-3 this past week in his first game back from injury and finger surgery, mind you. And on top of all this rushing volume, his role as a receiver is growing. He's got 2 5-reception games in the past 3 weeks. Now, are we talking like DeAndre Swift level receiving upside? No, absolutely not. Do we need him to be that? No, absolutely not. One guy who I'm kind of like looking at what can he become, if best case, you look at the usage right now, it's not too far off from Joe Mixon. And we're not asking for Swift level receiving upside. We're asking for 40, 45 targets, 30 to 35 plus receptions. Listen to these 2 paces right now, all right? First one is Joe Mixon. His 16-game pace this year, he's played 11 games so far. 302 carries, 1,344 rushing yards, 43 targets, 37 receptions. I'll say that one more time. 302 carries for 1,344 and 37 receptions on 43 targets. Elijah Mitchell, his 16-game pace, he's played 8 so far. 286 carries, 1,386 rushing yards. That's more rushing yards than Mixon on a per-game average. And 28 receptions on 30 targets. So we're talking about a difference of 9 receptions here. More rushing. He's not getting in the end zone touchdown-wise. But how many times do we talk about touchdowns are fluky? You hear it all the time in fantasy. And Elijah Mitchell's in a great offense, too. For all the quirks that Kyle Shanahan has, they can score points. there's certainly reason to believe that he could become a double-digit touchdown scorer in this offense. The receiving, 30 targets, 28 receptions. This is his pace as a rookie. He's been, one, battling injury. Two, when did they even figure he was going to be their starter? When did they even know he was going to be their week 1 starter? So there's reason to believe they were easing him in the first few weeks, obviously, letting Kyle Juszczyk handle more of that passing down, pass blocking role, while Elijah Mitchell, 1, is integrated into the starting role, and 2, able to learn those assignments. Now there's reason to believe he can reach that Joe Mixon level. He looks capable on film. There's reason to believe he can become a 40, 45 target, 35 to 40 reception player. On top of all that rushing volume, he is pacing for 270-something touches in 14 games. That's not even in 16 games. He is pacing for over 300 touches over 16 games right now, Elijah Mitchell. That's a lot. That is Joe Mixon level usage. And best part about it, the icing on the cake, the last 5 weeks of the fantasy regular season, he's got 4 top 10 matchups for running backs. 4 of them in 5 weeks. Seattle, Cincinnati, Atlanta, and Houston. So why are we hesitating to buy? Why isn't everybody let's go buy Elijah Mitchell? Why do I feel compelled to even make this video? Because there are a lot of doubters. There are a lot of people keeping that price tag low. Why? 2 main reasons. There are really only 2 main reasons. Number 1 is his draft capital is being held against him. Somewhat justifiably so. I mean, lower draft capital has lower hit rates. This is common knowledge in the fantasy industry. You don't need a genius to tell you that. But I believe when you look at all of the other factors, you have 7 to 8 reasons for this guy. Draft capital is the only one against him. That and this notion, which is this misconception, keyword misconception, that Kyle Shanahan is just random with his running backs. People believe that no matter how good Elijah Mitchell does this year, even though he is playing extremely well, that San Fran might go out and sign or draft another running back. Shanahanigans. They're scared. We saw with James Robinson last year, and that's the parallel that everybody jumps to. What happens if he gets James Robinson and they go out and, replace him? That's why the price tag is still low. That's why he's still available and people are willing to sell him for certain players. I'm here to tell you, I do not believe he's going to get James Robinson at all. There are a few differentiating factors here. Number 1 is that San Fran is not equipped with anywhere near the draft picks, the cap space, or a new coaching staff that Jacksonville had when they went and brought in Travis Etienne last year, when they went and drafted Travis Etienne. Elijah Mitchell, number 1, he's really good. We have this evidence by his athleticism, his efficiency, his after contract metrics. So you have to believe the coaching staff knows this. They don't even have a first-round pick. Jacksonville had 2 last year. They traded theirs to go get Trey Lance. They also, after investing a 3rd in Trey Sermon last year and a 6th in Elijah Mitchell, 2 picks invested last year. Do we think they're going to turn around and invest a 2nd-round pick in another running back after Elijah Mitchell has a really good year? Especially with Kyle Shanahan's history of being able to maximize lower drafted players? I do not think so. I do not think there's a high chance at all, or even a slim chance, of him getting James Robinson. You need to be viewing him as the guy, as the workhorse heading into 2022 and beyond. And I'm ready to view him as that. Not everybody is. And you look at Kyle Shanahan's history, it's not what it's made out to be. It is not. Let me say that slow because I'm getting rambled up and I'm going real fast. It is not what it's made out to be. There are only 4 running backs, four, who have had 250-plus touches under Kyle Shanahan as a play caller. We have Alfred Morris, Devontae Freeman, Carlos Hyde, and Steve Slayton, all right? All 4 saw 250-plus touches in their first season with Kyle Shanahan. Elijah Mitchell is pacing for 274 in 14 games played right now. So he's well on his way to hitting that 250 touch mark. You look at what happened in the second season with those players. Morris was given 285 touches in his second season with Kyle Shanahan. Devontae Freeman, 281 touches in his second season with Kyle Shanahan after being given 250 plus year in the first year. Carlos Hyde left as a free agent, so we don't know what he would have been given in his second year with Kyle Shanahan. Probably, I would assume, another 250 plus touches. Steve Slayton even, who was playing horribly his second year, averaging 3.2 yards per carry. And I know even if you're not a yards per carry fan, that ain't good. He was given 175 touches in the first 11 games of his second season before suffering a season-ending injury. 175 touches in 11. That's a 254 touch 16-game pace for Steve Slayton, even playing awfully in his second season with Kyle Shanahan. So that's 3 out of 3 who returned with Kyle Shanahan, who got 250 plus touches the first year, who got it again in their second year with Kyle Shanahan. And it probably would have been 4 for 4 if Carlos Hyde had returned and not left as a free agent. So this idea that Kyle Shanahan is going to just, on a whim, replace Elijah Mitchell with who? God, it ain't going to be Trey Sermon. We've seen that. With a free agent that they're probably not going to invest in. They don't have a ton of cap space. They still have to sign Nick Bosa and Deebo Samuel to extensions. They're not drafting one highly. There's zero evidence, very close to zero evidence, to suggest Elijah Mitchell is going to get James Robinson. That's not a concern for me. That is a great thing for me because while everyone else is worried about it, it keeps his price low. And that's what we're trying to get to ultimately here is the price, right? You can't buy him low anymore. Not after this Minnesota game. If the cat's out of the bag a bit, somewhat. You can't buy him for anything less than probably a future first if you're just offering draft picks straight up. But what can you do? You can turn these old veteran running backs who people are like attached to because they know them, they have this, they just know what they have in them for now, at least for the now. Like Derrick Henry, Aaron Jones, Ezekiel Elliott, even some of the a little bit younger guys, Montgomery and Josh Jacobs. You can turn almost all of these guys into Elijah Mitchell plus you can get Elijah Mitchell in a second for any one of those guys, I would believe, and probably more for like some of these Derrick Henrys, Aaron Jones, Ezekiel Elliott. And you look at these guys, Henry, major injury, all this workload in the NFL. Hitting past the age apex. Aaron Jones also dealing with injuries. A.J. Dillon's coming on, emerging, taking over that backfield. Ezekiel Elliott dealing with injuries, being rested while Tony Pollard is taking a significant role in that backfield. Meanwhile, you got Elijah Mitchell you can restart the cycle. He's a workhorse in San Fran. It's like you restart it and you get a free second round pick or more thrown in. Sign me up. Sign me up, guys. Like, I am all about that. All about resetting the cycle with because I believe in Elijah Mitchell. I believe you should believe in him too. You should be comfortable buying this guy, especially if you're gonna trade down and get picks on top. And everybody knows about the life cycle of running backs, guys. It's quick. You can't just sit on these guys forever. You gotta be willing to churn. And I believe Elijah Mitchell, he's giving you that opportunity to churn. He's that guy for you to go out and reset and add picks. And you can still compete with this guy. He's got a great schedule. We talked about 4 top 10 matchups. There's a good chance if he succeeds in these top 10 matchups, which he should, he's getting all the work. It's a great system. He's going to be valued ahead of the Aaron Jones and the possibly Zekes and the Montgomerys and even Josh Jacobs going into the 22 season. Straight up, he's going to be valued ahead of some of these guys. That's a likely outcome at this point. And you can get a pick right now. I don't think in 3-4 weeks, you ain't getting a pick from one of those guys on top of Elijah Mitchell for one of your old veteran running backs near him. It ain't going to happen. So I know it seems like he just had a big game. Can't buy now? Yes, you can. You sure can, and the window is still wide open. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got, guys. Go freaking buy Elijah Mitchell. I hope you enjoyed that little rant. yeah, hopefully I can give you guys better production quality in the future. If you don't mind, hit the like and subscribe. Help me grow this thing. I'm excited to get going into the future. Thank you. Have a good one. Go by Elijah Mitchell.